Everyone, it's Patty at PS Paper Crafts. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to make this really pretty Christmas card. It's kind of simple. You could put some gold berries or something up here, but I just thought it was pretty to leave it the way it is. And it's Merry Christmas, and then may the beauty of the season fill your heart with joy. So I'm using very vanilla cardstock and gold foil. And then I'm using this really pretty dynamic textured impressions embossing folder called the Seasonal Wreath. So it gives you all these different leaf textures and things like that. So it's really cool. I'm going to get started. I have my pieces cut. So again, very vanilla, half of a sheet of 8.5 by 11. So it's 8.5 this way, scored at 4 1/4, and it's 5.5 cut this way. And then this piece is the gold foil, and you could cut out the middle of this if you didn't want to waste it. And this is 5.5 by 4. And then this one is another piece of very vanilla, and this is 5.5 by 3 3/4. Now this is very, very tight, but I wanted to have the different layers behind. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to emboss our wreath. Pretty simple card. So this is the embossing folder. I hope you can see it. And I'm going to place this in here pretty much at the top as far as I can. And try to get it nice and even. So that looks pretty good. I want to have enough room for my Merry Christmas down here, and it is pretty much side to side. So let me get my big shot out. And this is one of those textured embossing folders, the dynamic textured impressions. So those only need one plate. So you're going to put it down on your Big Shot platform. If you have the tabs, open up the first tab. If you have this platform, you don't need that extra piece. I hope that makes sense. And you're just going to run it through. And I'm going to run it back and forth. Whoa. One more time. Hope that's not too shaky for you. Okay, so let's get rid of the Big Shot. And then we can open up the folder. Isn't that pretty? I think it's just very pretty because of the different levels of the embossing. It's really neat. So now I'm going to do the Merry Christmas, and I'm going to emboss this in gold embossing powder. And what I did was I laid my Merry and then my Christmas, and I put them on the block together so it would fit perfect, and they kind of go in together. And this is from the Merry Christmas to All set. So the Merry and the Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to first use my embossing buddy just to wipe down the area that I'm going to emboss. And this helps keep the static away and keeps the embossing powder where you want it, so it's not going all over the place. So let's just ink this up. This is the Versamark ink. We'll just get it nice and inky. And when you ink this down, you won't really be able to see it until you put your embossing powder on it. So, and I love the photopolymer when you're trying to place something in just the right place. I'm going to just press this down nice and hard. And it's kind of sticky. You really can't see it. I can see it a little bit here, but it's probably hard for you guys to see on camera. And then I have my gold embossing powder. I keep that in just a little kind of Rubbermaid type thing, so it's easy for me to scoop it and get it back in the thing. This powder will last you forever. You just can, just use a little bit and save it back in your container. So that looks good. And then I'm going to heat emboss it. I'm going to start it, and then I will speed it up so you guys don't have to hear it. But let me get it started. So I have my heat tool, and I'm just going to put it on high and get it warm and let her rip. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. So the way I like to check is to make sure it's shiny all around. If it's shiny, then it's all done. It's really pretty in person when you do the embossing. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to just put the card together, and actually before I put it together, I am going to stamp my inside. Because this is a single layer, if I mess it up, I can use that on the outside and I can just cover it up. Usually I have another layer inside, and then it makes it easier if you make a mistake. You could just cross it out, or not cross it out, flip it over. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up in real red, and that's the color of my ribbon on the outside. And I'm just going to make sure it's right side up, line this up, get it right there. Okay, that looks good. And now I can put my outside together. Let's see, let me just close this up. And I'm going to put this down first, and then I'll put my wreath on it. Oops. Get one. I've grabbed the wrong one. I had that aside, and I didn't realize it. That I needed to refill it. Okay. So this is going to go top to bottom and centered left to right. So just get it lined up. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to put a lot on the wreath. I guess you could use the liquid glue on this as well. And the same thing, we're going to go top to bottom and center it left to right. I just think, you know, the gold sentiment and then the pop of gold on the outside. Now I see this is a little shorter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop this, and what I'm going to do is run this through my paper cutter, and just cut this off so it's even. If it's a little bit shorter, so be it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just opened it up and ran it through my paper trimmer. So it's a tiny bit shorter. Sometimes when I cut my paper, I don't know, it doesn't always cut exactly right. So see, it's a little bit shorter, but nobody will ever know. It goes in the envelope, you're good to go. So don't ever throw out your card if it's like that. You can always fix it. So now I'm using this satin ribbon. It's the mixed satin ribbon, and it's in real red. And I'm just going to make myself a bow and put it at the bottom. Again, if you wanted to put gold berries or something like that, red berries, that would look pretty around it. But I'm just going to leave it kind of plain, and I think it's elegant. So let me just cut this, and then we can fix it a little bit. And I'll probably cut these a little bit more. I'm probably wasting ribbon, but that's okay. And I know it goes over the Mary, but I think that's okay. You can, you know, it'll move around a little bit. You could cut it shorter if you wanted to. So I'm just taking a glue dot and putting it on the back of here. And I'll just stick it on here. And then you could fuss with it if you wanted to. So aren't they pretty? I'll fuss with the bow a little bit more. And then the insides are nice. Now this is the card I made yesterday. If you wanted to see that. This is a 4x4 card. And I thought it was pretty. It's a little more country. This is a little more elegant. And again, it's using the wreath. And I did color the berries and use some twine. And this is Cherry Cobbler and Old Olive. So look at my blog yesterday and you'll see this, pspapercrafts.com, and then you can get more details on my blog for this card. Okay, you guys have a good day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.